What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. VP Tactical here. I hope you folks had a fantastic Christmas and holiday season if you celebrate otherwise. Today, I'm going to be installing a Picatanny rail onto this Savage Axis XP65 Creedmoor, Savage Axis XP2 specifically. And so this particular process, essentially what it's going to involve is removing the scope, which of course you're going to have to recite it. I plan to put a different scope on here, which once I put that new scope on there, then at that point I will follow that up with a different review on that new scope. But for all intents and purposes, some folks like these two-piece weaver rails. I particularly don't. Some folks had noted that they tend to come loose over time, which, I mean, of course that can happen. So it's suggested to take the screws out when you first get it, put blue Loctite on them, and then put everything back together. But again, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to go to a Picatanny rail, which is going to be an extended rail on this particular rifle. So we're going to go ahead and start by removing the scope. And so what we're going to do is just grab a flathead here, and we're going to go ahead and take this guy off. That should be pretty easy. All right, so for these, we're going to go ahead and take the cap off, and they are on there very tight, or the scope is on there very tight. So I'm just going to give it just a few love taps to get this thing up and off. We're going to use a T10 Torx bit, and we're going to go ahead and remove this two-piece weaver rail, and it shouldn't be that difficult to get off. Remind you, like I said, with this process, when you do this, you are going to have to recite your scope, which, I mean, arguably with the newer, better rail on here, more sturdy rail, if you will. And the one I picked up was from Monstrum. Got it off of Amazon. I've used a couple of their products, including some scope rings and stuff, and they seem like a decent deal. And if you notice, this particular rifle actually has lubrication underneath, and that's actually used to prevent rusting. And so that's why it's not uncommon to see that right underneath the rail itself, or the base in this case. And so this did come with two different screws. So we're looking at these. We got number 8 and then a number 6. All right, so I did match them up, and it is a number 6 screw. So just in case you're wondering, and I went ahead and put some lube on here, some CLP. And I also put some on the back side of the rail. As you can see, it's probably got a nice sheen to it. And we want that to be oiled up, these two surfaces. I've heard of some folks trying to seal them up. But again, for all intents and purposes, I believe oil works just fine for this particular application. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and line that bad boy up. And then we're going to put in our screws and a little bit of blue Loctite to go with it. So let's grab those screws and get this in. Mind you, when you're putting on the blue Loctite, you don't need a ton. Just enough to get the threads coated there. You don't want it soaking in blue Loctite. And so what I'm going to do is do that to all 4 screws, get them in, and then we're going to go ahead and torque them down, and I'll go over that here in just a moment. And if I said number 6 screws earlier, that was actually incorrect. It's number 8. Just wanted to correct myself on that note. And so what we're going to do here is set our little Wheeler fat wrench to 20 foot-pounds of torque, which is what is recommended for these bases. Again, you want to use Loctite with them too. So I got that set on 20 foot-pounds, if that thing will pick up. And with these, since it is a flathead screw, we're just going to use a flathead bit instead of the Torx bits that came with it. All right, we got all those done, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Now you have yourselves a Savage Axis. Maybe it's a 110 or Savage 110, or maybe a Savage Axis 1, or maybe a Savage Axis 2 that now has a upgraded rail, which ideally should hold 0 better than the factory Weaver 2 style. And there's a bunch of different companies that are out there, of course. This is just the one that I happen to pick up. I do like it because it actually has a bubble level in the very back, even though some people have said that it's a bit useless, given how small it is. But I'm not overly worried about that. Well, here I'm just cleaning up the holes, getting some of that blue Loctite out of there, just so that way that it doesn't seep around into anything else. So appreciate you folks stopping by, watching this video. We got a heck of a lot more content coming. Like I said, I picked up a new gun along with a bunch of new gear, and so I'm happy to showcase that stuff to you. More of those things coming here very, very shortly. If on the off chance we don't have a chance to connect, I just want to wish you a very, very happy new year. Be safe, stay vigilant, and catch you on the next video. Stay tuned for more.